What do you make of the Houston police chief's comments?
Well, I want to make it clear, I am friends with Art, and I think he's very emotional, and I've seen him respond like this emotionally before, and he and I are going to disagree on the remedy. There's several angles, and in lots of times when we unpack these shooters, such as this guy down in Houston, he shouldn't have had a gun in the first place on current laws that are there, rather than trying to stir up other laws. But horrible situation with the loss of Sergeant Brewster, and I've communicated that to Art, and I hate that. But I think we have an emotional police chief. God love him and God bless Houston. But I just simply disagree with him.
But I do want to broaden this out to what we were talking about a little bit in Virginia as well, because it seems like we've heard about sanctuary cities before in the past, but now we're talking about sanctuary cities as far as Second Amendment rights goes. Do you think that this is a growing movement a little bit? And if it is, do you think that it'll really gain traction the same way that the sanctuary cities for illegal immigration has?
Alex, I think you're onto something. I think it is a growing movement. We're seeing in a few places in Texas where commissioners of counties and city council members are getting that. And I certainly want to applaud the great people of Virginia that they're standing up to radical politicians saying, not here, not now. And I think they've got a force, and I think we're going to see those politicians start backing down from what they want to do.
Do you think that this is one of those issues where the conversations that we see on MSNBC, CNN at night, and hear from our politicians aren't exactly in tune with the way that actual Americans feel about this issue?
I believe you're correct, that they are not in tune with the way people feel. I have taught gun lessons for 20, 30 years, and I always believe, and I've seen in my law enforcement experience, where you have a responsible citizen, well armed, we're not going to see crime. And I think that we can point out Chicago and Baltimore and some places like that where they are having horrendous crime. And I believe, again, these radical left side are just not in touch with the people. Even the moderates and conservative Democrats carry guns.
And I do want to talk about the cities of Chicago and Baltimore, for example, because they have rampant violence taking place in their cities right now. And those are both cities, by the way, that have some of the most strict gun control measures in the entire country. I mean, Chicago is infamous for it, but it's the same thing in Baltimore. You might not even be able to have a gun in that city altogether, yet those are two of the cities with some of the worst gun violence in the entire country. What is the root of that issue? Are we going about it the wrong way by putting on more gun control measures, or do you think that there's a different avenue that we should be taking to address those issues?
I think there's a different avenue, and I believe that avenue is if you empower the good citizens of Chicago's and allow them to be able to defend themselves in those circumstances and go after the bad guys, the real bad guys. I think that they would see crime come down, but they're going to have to empower their police officers and make sure that they can enforce laws and empower their citizens to be able to defend themselves. And I think you would have a safer Chicago if you did that.
So do you think that regarding this issue as a whole, it kind of comes back to just enforcing the rules that we have on the books right now? Or do you think that there are other laws that we should be passing and looking at?
No, I think we need to enforce the laws that we have right now. There's a lot of these people with gun violence in Chicago that never should have had guns. It's already illegal for them to have guns on federal law, even if they were in Texas. But yes, that argument has no water, because I'm sitting in a community of Tarrant County with 2 million people here, in the largest urban county in the area, and we're the safest. And we have guns in Texas. We have a lot of great armed citizens here, and we don't have the crime problems that they have in Chicago.